Hi, agents. This is Linda from Linda Welsh Realty Group at Compass. I'd like to chat with you today about how to turn your online buyer leads into valuable appointments. Assuming that you have online buyer leads, if you don't, perhaps you have some in your broker's database or the team that you're on, or you might consider subscribing to some different companies that will provide you with these. And that could be everything from expired and withdrawn for sale by owner or FSBO listings, even probate listings, or even divorce situations, etc. It could also be searches through one of the larger portals. We don't personally subscribe to those, but they're out there. And if you have the checking account to cover it, then it might be something for you to consider if that's in your wheelhouse. So let's chat today about how you turn those online buyer leads into appointments. Number one is do your homework. If you find out where the property is and it's been listed before, you need to do some research. You need to check the prior listings, you need to check the tax records. I would check everything from the floodplains to how it's furnished, whether or not it looks like they did extensive photos, HD photos, aerial photos, drone photos, and whether or not this is something that you might consider because of the level of the price or the quality of the property, and whether or not that would enhance the view to the public. And again, also, if possible, maybe check out the owner a little bit, find out a little bit more about them. The names should be available on the public tax records, and in many cases, you'll be able to find out a little more through LinkedIn, et cetera. And then just have an affinity for the type of people that you're talking to, whether or not you know their career, whether or not the property is one that is a golf course community, an equestrian property, if it's a first-time home buyer, or perhaps investor property, or maybe even a fix and flip. Number two is to craft a winning script. Make sure that you have a myriad of scripts available to you that you're comfortable using when you're chatting with people about what's important to them. And remember to ask more questions, talk a little bit less, and ask open-ended questions so that you can find out a little bit more about the wants, needs, and time frame for your client or your prospective client. And this is really important because everybody has a different reason and a different time frame. For some, timing is more important than money. And for others, the end amount they put in their pocket is the most important thing, and they're not really that concerned with how quickly that happens. Also, consider what their next plans are. Find out whether or not they're planning on moving to a particular neighborhood or moving out of state or out of the area to be near family or for a job. These different considerations can really change what script you're going to use. Number three is to build real rapport. Again, how you relate to these people is extremely important. If possible, I would try to get in front of people, if not in person, if they're not able or willing to meet you in person right away, try to get on a phone call at the very least, but even better would be to get on a Zoom or Google Meet call so that they can talk to you face to face and you can start building that rapport and finding some avenues of familiarity, things that you have in common. As far as your call schedule, this is extremely important and not something that everybody is interested in doing, but those of us that have had a long or storied career will tell you that setting aside time, blocking out time to make your phone calls is extremely critically important. It's the number one thing that you can do to garner those leads, to nurture those leads, and to close those leads into either a listing or a sale. So I would suggest that you try to call approximately 20 people a day. And this should result in you calling at least 5 people from your sphere, people that you already know, people that if you saw them in the grocery store, they would know your name, you would know theirs, you would strike up a conversation, you have some shared history and perhaps some interest in common. Try to call at least 5 of those people a day. They may be in their home for 15 years and plan on being there another 20, but guess what? They know people. And staying top of mind and reminding them what you do outside of your relationship with them, whether or not you're playing cards or going for a run or going to dinner together, reminding them about what you do and how you can help other people would be critically important. And then to split the other 15 or 75% of your calls up into these categories, and these are in the order of importance. Number one are active leads. These are the ones that you've gotten the most recently, the ones who have reached out directly or indirectly through another company and raised their hand and said, I'm ready to talk to a realtor. I've got a property to sell. I've got a property to lease. I'm going to relocate to this city. These are new or recently engaged leads. Now, they might be online leads. They might be open house sign-ins. That's a big one. And if you're not doing open houses, I highly recommend it. It might be pay-per-click leads or portal leads. When you are chatting with them, start with sort of an icebreaker, an opening question or comment that is lighthearted and not so salesy. And then tell them a little bit about a fact. Tell them about what's going on in the market in general terms. Ask them a question and leave it open-ended. Try to move them towards a conversation a little bit deeper that's personal to them and what their needs might be. And then secondly, old leads. This is a reactivation of leads that perhaps you've had in your database for a while. And by the way, older leads for expired or withdrawn listings can actually be a little bit easier conversation than those that most recently expired or withdrawn, because they're not getting 30 phone calls in one day. So they're much more open and maybe ready to actually relist their property. So consider those older reactivated listings, leads, or buyer leads. Maybe when they signed up on a portal, they actually indicated they were interested in 6 to 9 months. Not right now. So reaching out in 3 to 6 months might make a whole lot of sense. And then number 3 is your neighborhood or geographically important properties. And those are ones that you really know something about. You're either staying in touch with the people in this neighborhood on a regular basis by sending them something of value. It might be information about active or sold listings, or it might be something to do with what's going on with the traffic patterns, with roads being repaved, or community activities, even an event or an activity that you're planning on having. So this is a great opportunity for you to get in touch with people, and particularly those in an area that you live in or that you specialize in. So I would target neighborhoods where you want listings and market share. That can also include those withdrawns, expireds, other listings where you've either done an open house for yourself or maybe for another agent. If there are other listings in the neighborhood that you're interested in, there's a very good chance that you might have an opportunity to reach out to the listing agent and offer to do an open house for that listing agent and perhaps represent a buyer. So these are the 4 buckets, if you will: your sphere, your active leads, your older leads, and then your neighborhood or community leads. So I'm wishing you all the best in 2026. If you would like to chat with me about your business or want to be involved in a real estate mastermind, or if just so happens that you're pushing back from real estate and going towards a different career or back to another career, give us a call. We have some solutions for you that can still put money in your pocket and allow you to refer business to other agents who are very active and experienced in your area. Again, this is Linda Welsh from Linda Welsh Realty Group at Compass, and I would love to chat with you about your business.